Sabres haven't won a game in 10.
That's bad.
They have gotten 3 out of a possible 20 points during that stretch.
Goodness. Man.
3 out of a possible 20 points. Now, I'm no analytics man myself, or at least I can't really read them because graphs are hard. But
Yes.
that's about 15% of your total potential points, which when you go back to the Sabres of 10 games ago, they had just taken a step ahead of the Boston Bruins.
Dude, they were A-OK. Sabres fans, like, I don't want to dump on them.
On the Sabres?
Or
Why
kick
not?
them while they're down. Or
Sabres fans aren't holding back. Why are you?
No, that's true. No. So I got to be careful about how I say it. This organization sucks. They suck. And, like, they can't even do the things that they do right. Like, at the beginning of the season...
Are you saying they do them wrong?
Yes, they do them wrong. Like, at the beginning of the season, I was talking about how they're honestly building the way you should. And still losing.
Yeah, but they've been doing that for fucking 12 years.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's not the way you should build. The funny thing about the stat you just read, Adam, you said last 10 games.
Yep.
If you go back to the last 13 games, they have more points than the New York Rangers.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Shit.
Now, we're going to get back to them. But listen, it's not good to be a New York State fan of anything right now, except for the New Jersey Devils, who are doing just fine, thank you.
Jesse Blake with the pull.
Last 13 games, the Sabres got a big old 9 points. They're 3-7-3. The New York Rangers, 3-10.
And by the way,
points.
people from New Jersey are going to be like, New Jersey's its own state. And we're like, yeah, okay.
It is. What are you talking
Yeah, okay.
about?
Yeah, all right.
And
yeah.
Mississauga's
Are you,
its own city.
are you
right.
arguing that it's
right.
not a state?
No, I'm arguing it's a state. I would just say, okay.
Okay, I get that
That
they
is
have
worse. That is worse than regression to the mean.
I get that they have like a governor and elections
And bridges.
I don't
not in New York.
I don't understand.
Have you been to New Jersey? Have you flown
I
into that
have.
airport?
I have. Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Couple
I
times.
seen
Played floorball there.
and
that's right.
and
Yeah.
didn't hop a turnstile.
Whoa.
We did not.
Yeah, we went to this actually.
Oh, I need to
really
hear
funny
this.
Story.
I need to hear this story.
forgot we
I
did
do not
this.
know this story.
We went to Yankee Stadium to see the Yankees play.
Yep.
And you get this little metro pass.
We stayed in New Jersey.
And we stayed in New Jersey, so you got to go like through everything. We got this little metro pass, but by the end of the night, it was like through our whatever allocation we had on that pass, and we're like, we're not paying. It was like $5 to get like a new whole pass and everything.
But I tried to buy one though.
Yeah, and the machine wasn't.
And
working.
it's like, what's your zip code? And I'm like, first of all, why do you need that? Just let me take the subway. And second of all, I don't have one.
Or do you not have tourists?
I don't have one. Now what?
Yeah. So we couldn't buy one, and it was ridiculous to buy a new one. So we simply walked over the turnstile.
Yeah. Here's my money. Let me on the train. What? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it at all.
And
that's why it's not its own state.
And that's why none of them can afford to put a good team, football team or otherwise, on the ice.
Because of thieves like Jesse and I.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
listen.
The Devils are actually really good.
I know they're amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I said they're doing just fine, thank you. And they're looking over their state boundary like we don't rely on you for all of our economy. Anyway, I look at what's happening with Buffalo, with the Islanders, with the Rangers. And I want to start with Buffalo. Please do not talk about the Rangers and Islanders too much, unless you're referencing what Jesse did, which is they're bad. I want to talk about the fact that the Buffalo Sabres and Lindy Ruff, people were like, wow, gosh, sure love this guy.
What were they like?
Gosh. You know, it's so funny, man. As the Buffalo discourse has picked up, they still defend their position on Jack Eichel. And people are like, he hates the city. No, that's the organization putting stuff out there to the media, telling you he hates the city. Jack Eichel didn't hate the city. He hated the what?
Ownership.
The organization.
The organization.
Which is what you said earlier. This group of bums, and they're bad, this is not on the players.
They have enough talent there to be respectable. Like I don't know if they're
They should be a playoff
team
team
yet.
They're a playoff team.
They should be in the conversation. Like you look at the roster and you're like, what would you change?
Sens,
like you could do this better, this better.
The Sens are a playoff team as of this morning. They're a second wild card. Yeah, because Buffalo fell out.
Oh my god.
New
Sens
York
have been-
fell out.
Oh, New York fell out too. Yeah. No, yeah, both.
It's the Senators past the Senators and the Flyers past the Rangers. So.
In what world, right?
Yeah,
And this is,
Oh yeah,
so,
you're right. Oh my god.
So with the Sabres, so here's what Lindy did. Lindy did what a veteran coach does, and you have to respect him for this. He said, I'm almost at a loss for words. It's on me to solve this. This is as tough a solve as I've been around, but it's on me to get these guys to the right place to win hockey games. Nobody else, just me. And that's great. He's going to take the bullets here.
Good for him.
But when Kevin Adams walked out a week and a half ago and took responsibility, and rightly so, in that press conference, which has turned into an absolute disaster since, that was supposed to be the hinge point. Hey, things were supposed to get better
That's
after that.
Buffalo media for you, though. That's why they can't win.
Well,
The media asks questions. So
I'm asking because I need to ask. Lindy is a legendary coach. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, he will be.
Yep.
Right?
Sure.
A lot of his great years were in Buffalo. 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of his great years in Dallas were
or goalie. Sorry.
a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I ask, as many people ask about certain, coaches age out too. And I'm wondering if there's a coach problem, there's a general manager problem, and it all stems from this. And this is the same problem the Rangers have, an ownership problem.
Adam, I flatly refuse to blame Lindy Ruff for any of this.
Well, he's too new on the job. He just got here.
He just got here, but also, no, it's Buffalo.
The Sabres,
Nothing
you mean.
Buffalo does.
You mean the Sabres. Please specify.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Because Sabres fans, and rightly so, are very defensive of their home city.
It's not the city.
It is not the city.
If you hear me speak negatively about the Buffalo Sabres in any way today, and I say Buffalo, just know I'm referring to the franchise and not the city. There we go.
Boom.
I flatly refuse. Lindy Ruff could be the worst coach in the league, and I would refuse to blame him. It's 2024. It is no head coach's fault that the Sabres suck. Nope. Oh, what about this player? Nope. At minimum, it's Kevin Adams' fault. But, it's ownership. It's ownership. It's ownership beginning, middle, end. They're the common denominator. They've been here the whole time. The team won't spend to the cap. Oh, because we don't want to. No, you don't want to spend to the cap. Just say it. Just say it. Stop making Kevin Adams, stop parading him up to the podium and having him look like an asshole because he can't speak truthfully, because he's got to take bullets for you.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think that there were Sabres fans that were upset. Terry Pagula has not spoken to the media in 5 years.
He's about to.
But there are health issues there. And I think that's why he hasn't spoken.
Okay.
And so he hires people to speak for him. And that's what Kevin Adams was doing a week and a half ago.
Yeah. Was it a week and a half ago already?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I heard it.
It was already 4 or 5 days late when we did it
That's
last Tuesday.
right.
Yeah.
It's new for me. It's like discovering an old band. Here's groveling GM getting absolutely destroyed by local media. Dude, I can't blame Lindy Ruff. I can't blame a player. I'm tempted to not even blame Kevin Adams. The common denominator here is real. They've fired so many GMs since the last time they were relevant. They've fired so many coaches since the last time they were relevant. They've gone through countless players since the last time they were relevant. The common denominator has to stand up here. Has to step up. Because this fan base is dying for... Well, they're dying, first of all. And they're dying for a winner. Here, they're dying,
and it'll be great when they get one.
A competitive team.
Yep.
Like their best years in recent memory, they were playing meaningful games in late March. Hooray! You know what I mean? That's it. That's it.
Yep. That's what that is it.
Well, and you're gonna fire Lindy Ruff, right? So you fire Lindy Ruff and you replace him with who? A head coach who's super stoked to coach in the Sabres organization? You're going to fire Kevin Adams and get an executive who's... You're their number one choice. Guys, what are we doing? Knock it off. Knock it off. This is ridiculous. You're the outlier here.
The interesting thing about the internal cap that they're apparently under, and this has been widely reported, never confirmed, is so the Sabres they're clearly under some sort of internal cap because they've spent to the cap exactly twice in the last 13 years in their playoff drought. So, you would expect that they are. My question about that is, what's the big friggin' difference between being $5 million under the cap and at the cap?
Yeah, sell a couple more hot dogs. I don't understand being cheap about that.
Jesse, you win 3 games, 4 games. It puts you in the playoffs some of those years.
Oh my gosh, playoff revenue? Who cares about the cap when you have playoff revenue?
Exactly.
In Buffalo.
Yeah. Also, sell a couple more Bills season tickets. I'm sure you're sold out for that new stadium you're building.
Yes.
I don't understand the internal cap thing when they have billions of dollars.
So the thought is, apparently, and again, unconfirmed because no one will talk about it, at least on the record, is that until you prove you can win, we are not going to invest big dollars in this team because it needs to build the foundation first. It's the same sort of thing that you're seeing in Anaheim with the Samuelis. Now, the difference between Anaheim and Buffalo, both smaller markets, but Buffalo has a very strong television market. Yeah. They were for a long time. I don't know if they still are top 5 in the league in terms of television viewing. And, obviously they compete with the Bills for the first half of the season, but we all remember when Buffalo was good. Those buildings were packed and loud and rowdy. And, again, I ask, if you're really operating within internal cap, you look at the way the Ducks have done it, they're like 15 million sometimes underneath what the cap is. That's saving real. What's $5 million to a billionaire?
Right.
What's $5 million every single season? And you're telling me that the Sabres can't cover those costs? I'm sure they could.
Yeah, Terry Pegula is worth $7.6 billion. And $5 million to his hockey team shouldn't mean anything.
So, which tells me, Jess, that it's a philosophy. This is a philosophy. This is how you've run your other businesses, and it's been very successful to the tune of $7.2 billion. You own, 6.2, excuse me.
7.6.
7.6 billion. Numbers are my thing. Did I tell you that? But you own sports in Buffalo.
Yeah.
You own both of those franchises. You bought the Bills out from under Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment with Bon Jovi. They were going to buy them and bring them north.
They were.
And you said, nope, mine. And the Bills were awful back then. And I think about this and I'm like, okay, maybe that strategy worked in those businesses. And maybe there is some, in the case of the Ducks, there's some intelligence that I can get behind that. Smaller market team want to cover costs, whatever. But what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at 6, 7 general managers in the last 10 years. I'm looking at a first overall pick who got traded and almost immediately goes on and wins a cup with his next team.
Second overall pick.
Second overall pick.
Yeah, that's very important.
They wanted the first overall pick, and they were very vocal about how grumpy they were that they didn't get it.
Man, it sure sucked to get Jack Eichel.
Oh, yeah, can't win
And
with him.
by the way, that second overall pick, who did win a cup, who was a huge factor, 26 points in 22 games, Sabre fans. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's true. That guy signed an $80 million deal to stay in Buffalo.
Oh, but enough about Sam Reinhart. Oh, to stay in Buffalo.
He wanted to be there.
Oh, I thought you meant stay where the palm trees are. Okay, got it.
I just, listen, people are saying, well, it's impossible to blame Kevin Adams for the whole failure of the last 10 years. I don't think
it quite easily.
I don't think anybody is. I think we're blaming him for the last 5.
Well, I'll beat this drum. I think they've done some good things. I really do. I don't think they're a miracle away from being relevant. I think they're a new set of eyes and spending to the cap away from making the playoffs, honestly, or being in there, right?
And I look at
the 2 wild card teams right now are Tampa and Ottawa.
Yep.
And you look at the situation at the bottom of not at the bottom, right in the wild card picture, it's a clump of teams. You should easily be at very least at the top of the clump. You should be competing well into the spring. And last night, what I saw is a team just completely deflate. The Leafs, it was either the Leafs tied it or went ahead, and Devin Levi, who that team is ruining, ruining. And the Sabres are the common denominator there too. He was unbelievable before he turned pro.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic in the American League. Cannot catch a cold in the NHL. And he actually did make a couple pretty big saves. He did.
Yeah.
But you see his body language and he sags. And really underratedly, I thought I often push back against the Toronto media narrative because I think it's just a crutch for, oh yeah, this is why the Leafs lose, right? I hate it as a crutch. But there was something that happened last night where I was like, we would have made a huge stink about that. Dylan Cousins, when the empty netter goes in, taking that misconduct.
For abuse of the official.
Is that what they called it?
Yeah, it's abuse of the official.
Oh, I thought it was because he slapped the puck into the net.
Well, I think the
guess
official probably was like, you shot that awful close to me.
Oh.
That's what they called it at the time. I'll check the box score, but that's what I remember last night. I'll check it right now.
Either way. And like, he's lucky.
Yeah, it's officially goes down as Dylan Cousins' abuse of officials at 17:48.
Uh-oh. Okay, so he might get a fine today.
No. That would take a cross check to the.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. No, but so I saw that, and I'm not calling for greater punishment here. Yeah, okay, you're down 2. There's 2 minutes left, and it's the NHL in 2024. That's a winnable game.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Their odds are very bad.
Not for this team.
Well, maybe that's the problem, right? But it's a young, important player to this team getting kicked out of a game that is still attainable.
Yeah, well, I think that lends to just how the Buffalo Sabres have been playing over this 10-game losing streak, well, winless streak, because they did have, was it 2 or 3 OT losses in there? So they collected some points, but no wins. In 7 of those 10 games, they led at some point in that game. Whether it's a 1-0 lead, whether it's the Colorado game,
A 3-1 lead against the Leafs,
whether it's 3-1 against the Leafs, whether it's 4-0 against the Colorado Avalanche. This team is able to get leads in 7 of these 10 games, and they're not able to hold them and maintain them and close out games. And it lends to just how this roster has been built by Kevin Adams, where it's extremely young. It has the bottom 6 is kind of tough. You know, they have some bodies down there. It doesn't really push people around though, but it's just so young up top with no real just scoring there that spooks you. You know, there's nothing there that's gonna keep a lead, that's gonna really be dangerous. It's not a very well constructed roster. It's too young in my mind.